Okay, you might be asked to find a gradient or a y-intercept of a line, or both. Okay, and this is going to be important later when we generate equations for a line. So I'm going to introduce you to two letters that are often interchangeable with these two terms. So the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, which is the one that goes high up the vertical center of your axes, and that is often given the letter C. And the gradient itself, so that's how steep the line is, that's what that means, and that is often given the letter M. Okay, let's have a look at our examples on the screen though. So I'm going to start off with the bottom line, the purple line, and the y-intercept for this is here. Okay, so that's at -2. So I'm going to give it the proper letter. I'm going to say C is -2. Okay, now I need to find the gradient. Now, for the gradient of a line, I want to find places where it crosses the grid in the center. So you want to look for a 4-square grid. You want to look for a point where it's crossing nicely in the center. So I'm actually going to use the y-intercept itself, which I've already marked, but we'll mark it again here. So these 2 points, for instance, are a good starting point. Right, next I'm going to use a ruler, and I'm going to draw in the horizontal width. So dot, 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 dot. And I'm also going to draw in the vertical height of my right-angled triangle. Okay, so you can see it's a nice right-angled triangle here. So my right-angled triangle is showing here. Now, you can see that the height of the triangle is between -2 and 2, so it's 4 squares tall, and the width of it is between 0 and 2, so it's 2 wide. So my gradient, which I'm going to give the right letter, I'm going to give it M, is going to be my height, which is 4, divided by my width, which is 2, and that gives me a gradient of 2 for this first example. Okay, let's have a look at the next line up, which is our green line. So again, let's find the y-intercept for the green line. Okay, let's mark the green line on here. Okay, so you can see that it's crossing at 2. So we're going to say, let's see where we can put this. We'll put this over here. So C equals 2, so +2 this time. And now I want to find a nice place where I can draw in my dotted right angle so I can work out the gradient. I'm going to use the y-intercept again, and I'm also going to use this point over at -4 on the x-axis. Okay, so let's draw in this right angle triangle. Okay, right, there we go. So now let's see how tall it is. So between 0 and 2 is 2. Between 0 and -4, that's a difference of 4. So we've got 4 here. And then we're going to work out the gradient. So we've got 2 divided by 4 this time, and that will give me a gradient of 1/2. So either as the fraction 1/2 or as the decimal 0.5. Excellent. Okay, last one then. Let's have a look at the blue line. So the blue line has got a intercept here of +4. I'm going to pop this down in that bottom left quadrant. So C is equal to +4. And now I need to find a nice place to put in my right angle. Now, there is no right size for your right angle. You're just looking for a convenient places where you can measure. So you see where I've marked it here. Again, those lines are going through the grid, nice easy squares for me to measure. Okay, that's what I'm really looking for, something where I can get some accuracy. So let's do my dotted lines. And again, of course, it's a right angle. So this time I've got, so the difference is -2 to -4 for the height. So that's a difference of 2. And -6 to -8 is a difference of 2 on the width too. So my gradient is 2 divided by 2, which of course is just 1. So that's my gradient so far. Let's have a look at some more examples. Okay. So what I wanted to show you here was that sometimes the gradients might be negative. Okay, so you can see the purple line. Now that's just like the ones we have been looking at. Okay, they're going from the bottom left up to the top right. So with these ones, these are what we call a positive gradient. Now the red and the green lines on this one are going from the top left down to the bottom right. And these are negative gradients, but we still need to be able to determine them. So let's do the purple one first, just to get out of the way. Okay. So our purple has got a y-intercept of just -1. And now let's work out its gradient. So again, let's pop in our ruler. Find a nice convenient place to do this. You'll probably start seeing the gradients themselves fairly obviously. Okay, remember we're looking for that right angle triangle. So this is between it's between 0 and 2, so 2 high, and between 2 and 6, so 4 wide. So our gradient is going to be 2 divided by 4. So this is another one that's a half. Okay, but that's positive because it's a positive half on the gradient. Let's have a look then at the next example we've got. So let's have a look at the red line. Okay, so the red one has got a y-intercept going right through the origin, through 0. Okay, 0, 0 on our axes. So our I-intercept, otherwise known as C, is 0. Now let's work out the gradient for this one. Okay, so notice that the right angle triangle is going to be facing the opposite direction to our previous ones. Okay, so the height of this one was not very well chosen. It would have been fine, but I'm just going to make it easier. Thought I was there. Apologies. Okay, so our right angle triangle is between 2 and 6. This is just so I had easier numbers to demonstrate with. So 2 and 6 is 4. And between -2 and -6, the difference, of course, is 4. But you might notice we're now going towards the right angle, towards the left instead of the right. So we're going to call this -4. So our gradient is going to be 4 divided by -4. And that's going to be -1 as our gradient for the red line. Okay, lastly, let's have a look at our green line then. So first, the y-intercept is -2. So where should we pop this? We'll pop this over in the sort of the bottom left quadrant again. So we've got y-intercept is -2, so C is -2. Now let's work out the gradient for this line. Again, let's find some nice points that we can measure across. Let's go for the intercept itself. And actually where the red and the green line intercept one another, like they cross each other. Okay, so there we go. So now our height is between -2 and 2, so height is 4. And then between 0 and 2 is 2. But again, we're going to find towards the right angle towards the left, so this is going to be negative. So our gradient is going to be 4 divided by -2, and that will give us negative, -2 as the answer. Sorry, let me just tidy that one up a bit. So -2. Okay. On the next step, we'll be looking at turning those into equations. Okay, find your y-intercepts and also your gradients.